everybody, this is Laura
and Arnie
with Krazy Cool Cakes, and today we're going to be showing you all how we arrived to the perfect consistencies for the icing that we use to ice our cakes. We have two different types of icing here. One is the soft icing that we use to fill and crumb coat our cakes. This is so creamy, so delicious. I wish you could smell this. And then we also make hard icing, which is what we use to dam and to ice the outside of our cake. These recipes, of course, are from Edna de la Cruz. She has an awesome tutorial here on YouTube, and you can find the link to her video underneath ours. And the purpose of this tutorial is to answer all of your questions that we've gotten on how do you know when it is the right consistency for icing. So we hope to be able to answer all of those questions, and let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, I'm gonna take a cup of softened, unsalted butter. So this is for a full batch of icing for soft consistency. Next, I'm gonna add the shortening. I'm just gonna add a cup of shortening. And I just eyeball that. When you've been doing icing as long as I have, thanks to my wife not liking to do it, I love making the icing, so.
The shortening that we use, guys, believe it or not, is just a great value brand from Walmart. Walmart usually sells two different kinds of shortening. One of them has the word vegetable on it, and this one you'll notice doesn't. This is just pure shortening, and this is our high fat ratio shortening. It's made with mostly meat fat, so you want lots and lots of fat in your shortening. This really is the best type of shortening to use as opposed to Crisco, which is very greasy and very oily. This is the best kind to use.
I love it.
Yeah, we like it. Of course, there's more expensive brands, but if you just give this brand a try, you'll see that it works just as great. Okay, so what's next, sweetie?
I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of clear vanilla extract. I'm gonna add that right into that so it mixes well with it.
And again, this is for a full batch, correct?
That's correct. So now we're gonna start the mixer. So now we're gonna start talking over the mixer.
So far all you have in there is butter, shortening, and
clear vanilla extract.
Okay.
And here we go. Got that all mixing well so it gets nice and soft.
What speed are you at right now?
I'm on the 3rd speed there. And then from then on out, I'm gonna do 1st speed.
So how do you know when to stop doing this? How do you know when to
It's
stop?
just eyeballing it, and when it starts looking like a, I guess like a mayonnaise, I guess.
Mayonnaise? That's a good description.
Yeah, okay. And when it starts looking like that, that's when I stop it.
Okay.
And we do that now.
So for a full batch, it's
gonna be 8 cups of confectioner sugar, but I'm gonna do 4 at a time, of course. Just to start off half, and then you'll see why I do that. There's 1 cup. 3, and we'll stop halfway at 4.
So you add all 4 cups all at once.
Right, and this is for the full batch. So now I'm gonna take 2 tablespoons of meringue and add that to the half here so far. And also, gonna add 4 tablespoons of milk.
So I guess at this point, it's important to mention that this is one of the ways that we are able to get our icing so nice and creamy, and we're able to get it nice and stiff for icing. A lot of people like to use water, but we recommend using milk, as this really does highly improve the consistency of the icing.
It sure does. In fact, I'm gonna even add another half, so that's 4.5 right there.
So that's just half the amount of milk?
Right, that's half the amount so far. We're gonna mix that up once again on low. And let that go.
Now I guess it's important to mention, guys, that we live in El Paso, Texas. We're in the middle of the desert.
Sorry.
We're in the middle of the desert. It is extremely dry here, and we actually use quite a bit more milk because we live in such a dry environment. So this is one of the things that I love about this recipe, is that you can actually control the consistency of your icing. So for example,
no matter where you live.
Yeah, so for example, right now we're making the soft icing, which is for filling and crumb coating. So if you know that you're gonna be making a very moist and crumbly cake like strawberry or lemon cake, you know, carrot cake, something that tends to fall apart very easily, then you can actually make this soft icing even softer to make sure that it doesn't damage your cake, and that's what we do a lot.
That's true.
If you're gonna be doing like a very thick or dense chocolate or vanilla, then you don't need to add that much milk. And of course, also depending on the weather, the climate, you decide how soft or how hard you want your icing to be. So just remember that you can add as much milk as you need to, and this will just take a little bit of experimenting until you finally find out what's the best amount of milk for the icing depending on where you live. Whew, that was a lot to say.
That was a lot. How'd you get that in one breath?
But it's important.
Now I'm gonna add 4 more cups of confectioner sugar. Right. 1.
As you can see, my husband likes to bang a lot. He's very noisy in the kitchen. You know, he's making icing when all the walls start to shake.
It's because I was into the 80s heavy metal, so that's what it was.
So that's 3.
3, thank you. I almost forgot.
So one full batch is total of 8 cups.
Right.
Okay.
And there's my 4th.
So 4 more.
And then I'm going to do again 4.5. And I just eyeball that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half. And we're gonna mix it on low once again. Take it away. So after I've been mixing it a while, well, not me, the mixer, been mixing a while, I go and check out the consistency and say, yep, that's good enough for us. So I'm gonna turn it off. And when
how do you know? How do you know, when?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly, but look at that. I'm gonna just go and touch that in there, and you'll see that.
Semi-creamy.
Right, but still stiff enough to even stick to this. Like, I'll show you.
So it's not dripping
Right.
or anything.
Right. And that took a lot for me to take that off, but
Okay.
it's still very soft though. What I'm gonna do is scrape the sides of the bowl here just to get all the sugar off. All right. We're gonna let it roll again. And this will be the last one. And then we're done with it. Smells delicious. Okay, that's it. We're gonna go ahead and put that into a bowl now.
Okay, so here is our soft consistency icing, and again, this icing is half shortening and half butter. Remember, you can find the amounts of the ingredients down below the video. This icing is what we use for filling and crumb coating only. The whole point of this video is to show you the right consistency for crumb coating and for filling. So let me just show you what the soft icing should look like and feel like. So if you notice, there's no holes in the icing. It's very, very creamy. If I tilt the spatula, the icing is not falling off. It's nice and stiff, but very creamy and smooth to the touch. So I'm going to actually spread this out, and you can see how smooth and how creamy the icing is. It has a nice, shiny, silky finish to it. And so it is soft, but it's not liquidy. Okay, it's still very nice and dense, and this is the right consistency for crumb coating and for filling. Again, you mess around and play around with the amount of milk that you want to add to the icing until you find the perfect consistency depending on where you are. Okay, so I just love this icing. It's absolutely delicious, and I just refuse to use anything else. Love it.
Save me some.
You wanna taste it, baby?
I'm good right now.
Okay, now we're gonna be making the hard icing, which is what we use to dam and to ice the very outside of our cakes. This is outside and on top of the crumb coat. So this is exactly like the soft icing. The only difference is there's no butter in this icing. It's all shortening. So we're gonna go ahead and make the icing. Again, you can find the amounts and the ingredients below the video. And then we're gonna show you the final perfect consistency for icing the outside of your cake. Take it away, baby.
All right, thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and start with 2 cups of shortening. So now I'm gonna grab 2 teaspoons of clear vanilla extract and put that in there. Now I'm gonna start it on, I guess, medium speed so it gets soft right away.
So the shortening is at room temperature, it's already pretty soft.
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Nice and creamy.
Yep. Looking for that same, I guess, mayonnaise consistency. Yeah.
But not liquidy, right?
Not
Just
liquidy. Yeah.
creamy.
Just creamy like that. And we're about done there.
Let's see how that looks.
And I'm gonna add 4 cups of confectioner sugar. 1. I'm gonna do this on Sesame Street or something. 2.
And this, of course, is already sifted.
That's correct. 3. 4. Now I'm gonna add our meringue powder. 2 tablespoons.
And again, we're making a full batch. If you're only gonna be icing one small 6-inch or an 8-inch, then of course you would have this recipe.
Like a temp on grill, right? Now, I'm gonna add 5 tablespoons of milk. Gonna mix that on low.
How do you know when to stop?
I'm just looking at the consistency once again, just to see when I feel it's time to add the next 4 cups. And we're just about there.
So when you don't see any more loose powder?
Right. Well, you're gonna see loose powder on the outside, but I'm gonna scrape that on the end. But just right on the inside, exactly, no loose powder on the inside. And it has not clumped up, it's just all smooth now. Okay, we're ready now. 4 more cups of sugar.
Let's see your tip on grill move.
Why, because I'm Chinese? That's 3? That was sloppy.
See if we can do better on this one.
And that's 4. I'm gonna add 5 more tablespoons of milk.
So even though the hard icing, guys, is supposed to be nice and stiff, we still make it creamy, and believe it or not, after the cake is iced, it's still gonna be nice and stiff once it hardens. That's why we use the high fat ratio shortening, because even though it does have quite a bit of milk, or we actually add a lot of milk to it, the fact that you're using more fat in the milk instead of water, and you're using shortening, pure shortening, not vegetable shortening, it does let your icing get nice and stiff once it's iced. And this is actually the perfect icing and the perfect consistency for getting super sharp corners and really nice, straight, smooth sides.
I'm just gonna scrape the sides here. Feels good, actually.
So how does it feel? Describe.
Real good.
Is it nice and stiff?
Yeah, but I want to get all that powder on the side in there until I make my final decision as to when to stop. And to be honest with you, I just go ahead and look at it and feel it, and then I imagine my wife icing the cake. If she's gonna struggle with it, I'm like, nope, it needs to be looser, you know. So I'll add a little bit more if I need to, but that's pretty much how I think about it. I think about your labor.
Thank you, baby. But that's not to say that there haven't been times where he thought that it was perfect, and then I had to give it back to him and told him to add just a tiny bit more milk and remix it for me because it still wasn't soft enough, just depending on the type of cake.
I thought you were just trying to make me do something.
No. It is for a reason. When I send you to the store, it's just to get you to do something.
Actually, it looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go take my spatula, my little spatula to it.
Let's see how it looks hanging from.
Okay. There it is.
So, man, that's like super, super smooth. And you have to actually hit it right in order for it to come off.
Yeah. And I always do this in the bowl because I simulate what my wife does icing the cake.
Really? I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I think about you.
So if it's, I'm gonna zoom in, nice and smooth. So it looks very creamy, it looks very foamy, but if you could actually hold a spatula in your hand and run through it, it takes a little bit of muscle,
It
right?
does,
I mean,
yeah.
to be able to go through it.
It does, but still smooth. And that's what's gonna get it for you.
So that's it?
That's it. I'm gonna put this into a bowl now.
Okay. All right, guys, so here we have our finished hard icing made with all shortening, no butter, and I wanna show you the awesome consistency. So you used how many tablespoons of milk, sweetie?
I used actually 10 tablespoons.
So quite a bit. So as you can see, it's very, very thick, but still very smooth, very creamy. I don't know if you can see just how nice and smooth that is. And that's how the outside of your cake will look when you ice your cake with this really nice stiff icing. So again, as you notice, it's not falling off. Nice and thick. You need to really work hard to get it to fall off. So again, perfect consistency.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome, baby. All shortening. Now I get a lot of questions as to, can you store this? How long can you keep it? I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how long this keeps, only because my husband makes this for me like literally minutes before I start icing my cake. So my recommendation for the perfect consistency and the perfect smoothness and creaminess for the icing.
Need somebody like me?
Well, yeah, that would help, but also just make it right before you ice your cakes. I wouldn't recommend making this icing hours before and then just having it sit there. As you can see, the best consistency is right when it's made. So literally he would just cover this in plastic and bring it over right to me and I would start icing. So my recommendation is to make the icing right before you ice. All right, guys, so here we have our 2 full batches of soft icing, which is half butter and half shortening, and our hard icing, which is all shortening, no butter. Again, you can find the links to Edna's recipe underneath our video, and then you can also find the recipe and the list of ingredients in the description box. You can tell the difference in color. The soft icing, which has half butter, half shortening, I don't know if you can see in the video, it's got a little ivory or soft yellow tint to it because of the unsalted butter. And then the hard icing is really a really nice white, real beautiful snow white color because it's all shortening. It has no butter in it whatsoever. So again, be sure to check out our 2 videos on how to ice. Actually 3 videos, 2 of them on how to ice and 1 of them on how to crumb coat and dam. These will be very, very helpful, and I hope that showing you how we've made the icing and the consistencies have helped you. And remember, guys, that you control how hard or how soft your icing comes out just by how much milk you use. All right, so let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for being subscribers, and we look forward to your wonderful comments. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.